In India, we do not follow any, this kind of process wherein, client is formally denying that I am, denying what you have suggested.
Privacy comes first. The advisor is unable, their privacy laws are such, if you disclose any information, you are in trouble.
And this is important when you go to the court of law, then you need to have a written proof.
Hey, Mr. XYZ bought this, now you also buy. One shoe size does not fit all. In this country is out of the picture. And that's the reason why I tell a lot of insurance professionals that you call the client to the office. So they say, oh, no. One day the client says, I have to ask my wife.
Yes.
The next time the client has to ask the uncle. The third time the grandfather. The word is चिपका दो.
हेलो और आपका स्वागत है हमारे और एक नए आस्क रवि पॉडकास्ट में। इस पॉडकास्ट में हमने एक काफी स्पेशल गेस्ट बुलाया हुआ है जिनका नाम है काइवान होमी ईरानी। जी हाँ, मिस्टर काइवान जो है उनको बहुत ही अमेजिंग एक्सपीरियंस है कैनेडियन कंपनी में काम करने का, और उसके बाद अब वो इंडिया में भी एक इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में काम कर रहे हैं एज अ सक्सेसफुल फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर। तो आज इस पॉडकास्ट में हमने उनको एज अ गेस्ट इन्वाइट किया हुआ है और आज इसी पे हम बात करेंगे कि इंडिया में इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में एज अ फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर काम करते हुए उनको कैसे कल्चरल डिफरेंसेस दिखते हैं, किस टाइप का सिस्टम कनाडा में है, किस टाइप का सिस्टम हमारे इंडिया में है, और उसकी वजह से जो एक आम फाइनेंशियल एडवाइजर या फिर एजेंट जो काम करता है ना, उस पे क्या फर्क पड़ता है। इंटरेस्टिंग राइट? आइए देखते हैं इस पॉडकास्ट में। यस मिस्टर काइवान, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग ऑन द शो। दिस इज द वीडियो पॉडकास्ट सीरीज दैट वी हैव स्टार्टेड on agentsrecruitment.com's YouTube channel, and I just introduced you also that you have an exposure of working into Canada and in India as well. So today, but the purpose to call you on this video podcast series is we as an audience, or as a people who are working in insurance industry want to understand both aspects on the cultural difference, work cultural difference between two countries. And when you were working in Canada, and now you are also working in India in insurance industry, right? So want to understand what all difference did you notice, how working there is different from working in India, what all things that you saw that was good in India or good in Canada. We'll be talking about that, your perspective of insurance industry as a financial consultant. I want to portray, I want to cover up that into this podcast, so that many people who are connected with us on this YouTube channel are working in insurance industry as a development officer, as a manager, or as an agent in insurance industry. And believe me, many of them are also a kind of a people who are who want to come into insurance industry as well, right? So they are also watching this channel because they want to understand how tough is insurance industry, how easy it is, and what should I do to come into this industry, what are the earning perspective, right? So that is something which we wanted to cover into this. Thank you so much for coming to the show. So the first question, which is very obvious question, which I want to ask you is what kind of cultural difference that you noticed working in Canada and when you are now working in insurance industry in India?
Well, so thank you for the invitation, and the goal is to provide value.
Yeah.
Value in terms of perspective, because that is the key.
Correct.
So the thing is, in Canada, first, it's a bigger industry with smaller numbers, because the population is smaller, and going out on a field call is more challenging because it's colder sometimes, there is snow, etc., etc.
Right.
Now the thing is, the key there is, because like a lawyer and a realtor and a mortgage professional, any life insurance professional or financial consultant has to, by law, they cannot hold themselves out as a financial advisor. They can only actually hold themselves out as an advisor. The word is advisor, because the thing is, only a CFP or a certified financial planner can actually hold themselves or use a designation of a financial planner.
Correct.
Here, you can only, in Canada, they can only call themselves an advisor. Financial is a grayer area.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
second is that everybody who holds a life insurance license, which is issued by the regulator, depending on which province or state the person wants to practice in.
Correct.
Not pan country. Mostly it's every state by state or province by province. There, the state is known as a province.
True.
That's the different term.
Yeah.
So everybody by law has to carry $1 million professional liability insurance, mandatory, compulsory.
Correct. Correct.
Otherwise, that's the regulator's law for actually holding on to the license.
Right.
And it has to be renewed every year. So it's like general insurance, or auto insurance, or car insurance. Every year you have to renew it.
Correct.
Every year the professional incurs a cost to renew the professional liability insurance.
Right.
Now, there is a by virtue of circumstances. The virtue of circumstances, the legal system there is that the financial advisor is always dishonest until proved otherwise in court.
Right. Right.
So, for example, if there is a financial advisor and there is interaction with a client and all the communication is done by mouth or verbally and there isn't any documentation, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, the client can sue the financial advisor for incorrect or erroneous recommendation.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
Now, what happens is the lawyer, the client's lawyer, knows that there is a pool of money lying in the form of professional liability insurance which can be accessed provided the judge or the court favors the client.
Right. Right.
So generally what happens is all there is a agency model is virtually non-existent. Mostly the broker. So financial advisors generally or advisors or life insurance professionals have multiple contracts with various insurance companies via an MGA or managing general agency, which is known as a brokerage.
Correct. Correct.
And what happens is since they are offering multiple offerings from various companies,
Right.
different structures, what happens is they are advised to put everything in writing.
True.
All communication in writing, and the client must sign off if the client refuses to accept the advisor's recommendation,
Correct.
which is supposed to be kept on file. So
Right.
what happens is 10 years down the road,
Hmm.
the client says, hey, this specific advisor misguided me.
Right.
Or it doesn't matter what gender they belong to. The advisor can put forth the written documentation saying this is what was communicated with the client, and
Correct.
the refused by signing off
True.
that they were refused. So that's evidence. Now the thing is, advisors still fail to do that and depend on verbal communication, especially from India and Asia
Yeah.
and Southeast Asian bloc, because
Correct.
they're used to using only verbal communication,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they get into trouble.
In India, we do not follow any, this kind of process wherein, client is formally denying that I am, denying what you have suggested, right? And this is important when you go to the court of law, then you need to have a written proof.
Correct. So, for example, here in India they have the IRBAI.
Yeah.
That's the rate.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when the client, for example, says, I have put in a claim. Now, there is a lot of clients who feel that, whatever insurance they buy
Right.
is a sort of a lottery windfall.
Correct.
Here,
Correct. Yeah.
right? A way to get money.
Right.
So is the advisors got to realize that they got to change the structure they work
True.
in, they
True.
work with, and they got to formalize everything.
Absolutely.
Two. Other things are privacy. So, for example, you have a friend. You and your friend have the same advisor. Now, it's human nature, right? When the advisor comes to you, say, hey, tell me, What did they buy? Hey, what did they buy? Privacy comes first. The advisor is unable, their privacy laws are such, if you disclose any information, you are in trouble.
Correct.
It doesn't matter if it's brother, sister, brother. No,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Here, what happens is advisors, in fact, advisors go and say, hey, this person has bought so and so.
Yeah.
Now, that's a hazard. That's
Correct.
a moral hazard, because what happens is now people know that in the Philippines actually this happened.
Mm-hmm.
That an advisor loudmouthed that they had sold X amount of policy.
Oh.
The advisor was actually kidnapped by the mafia.
Oh.
And the people who bought this were actually subject to extortion.
Correct.
So privacy is a must.
Absolutely.
Here in Canada, it's a no-no. Even if it's a relative, you do not have the authority to
Yeah.
provide information about anything. In India, I find that people go ahead and do whatever they do.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. XYZ bought this, now you also buy. So there is a lot of unprofessionalism and there is no repercussions, by the way.
Absolutely. You know what reminds me this is a kind of a technique which usually people use while collecting money for Ganpati. You must have observed that, right? कि साहब आपकी पूरी बिल्डिंग में से सब लोगों ने 1,000 रुपया दिया है, आपको तो मिनिमम 700-800 रुपया तो देना पड़ेगा या 1,500 रुपया तो देना पड़ेगा. So it is the same technique which agents are using. Yeah, everybody is your 5 people that has already bought this policy. This is good for you, and I really don't understand what kind of need analysis is this, because the same policy cannot be good for everyone, right?
One shoe size does not fit all.
Absolutely.
So the thing is, there you have to do financial advisors have to do a financial analysis.
Yeah.
When they make a recommendation, they have to prepare a report.
Correct.
That is the application. That the insurance company comes to know how the professional came to a conclusion that this is the ideal, suitable offering for the client.
Correct.
Here, people just trust anything. They say, this is good for you, this is good for you. And so, professionalism in this country is out of the picture. And that's the reason why, that is one of the reasons why, I tell, a lot of insurance professionals that you call the client to the office. So they say, oh, no, life insurance, we have to pay the client's place.
Correct.
And 5 times one day the client says, I have to ask my wife.
Yes.
The next time the client has to ask the uncle. The third time the grandfather. I mean, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. That usually happens. मुझे इसको पूछना है, मुझे उसको पूछना है, and that story goes on.
So it's a waste of time and disrespect to the profession.
Yeah.
Because when you speak to a lawyer, the lawyer says, before I review the document, I require $50,000.
Correct.
That's my charge for reviewing the file.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Or you go to the CA. The CA says, I'm not coming to your house. You come and see me.
Correct. Absolutely.
The professionalism where insurance is your insurance is, I always tell this to people. The moment you say insurance, they say, yeah, whatever. I mean, the client's perspective is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, that precisely which I wanted to ask you. The next question was about professionalism itself, because I have been talking about this to a lot of people in insurance industry, about to managers, to agents, and my goodness, people don't understand literally what is professionalism. Many people misunderstand it with if you are in a proper formals, then you are professional. But being in proper formals is just 1% of being professional, right? So how you approach to your client, what all things you talk on phone, what is your verbal and written communication, how what kind of advice you are giving. it starts the day you first interact with your clients till you are giving his after sales service or whatever, right? So everything that you do in your work is professionalism, and that has to be, there has to, as I guess, I don't know, should I compare it with table manners? Yeah, because there are some etiquettes when you sit down to eat, to have your dinner, to have your lunch. There are some basic table manners that you follow, like chap chap karke nahi khana hai. If you are having a guest, you first offer him the lunch or the dinner, make him sit first at the best chair that you have in your house, whatever. So ये जो professionalism है, that this professionalism is not this kind of professionalism is not seen in insurance industry by the people who are working in it, right? So I also wanted to understand from that, what all things that you observed like this when you are working in insurance now.
Okay, so the thing is, in Canada also people dress not very formally. I dress formally because it's more of a preference.
Right.
Here, I mean, of course, for this video call, I've worn a suit also. Otherwise, I just wear a tie and shirt.
Right.
Sometimes I wear a vest. Of course, if I'm doing a presentation, I do wear a suit because you can imagine, I'm going to use the US as an example. So, every US inaugural address,
Correct.
presidential inauguration, every time the candidate is always wearing a suit.
True.
What is the reason? There is a reason, reasoning behind that. And all the past American presidents also always show up in a suit because of the event. It's a special event.
Right.
Now the thing is, formal attire is one of the aspects of the process.
Being professional.
Being professional. So
Yeah.
let's take an example. Imagine for a moment, imagine somebody shows up at your residence or at your office. Sneakers, shorts,
Right.
and the first 30 to 45 seconds, you being Indian, will extend in the culture. Indians never say no.
Right.
Yeah, come have a cup of tea.
Correct.
You decided not to buy, mind well.
Right.
Never, you'll extend courtesy. What's the word? The word is
Courtesy.
courtesy.
True.
You can't say no. So what you'll do is, yeah, you'll shake your head, etc. And then
Right.
after an hour, you'll say, I have to ask my aunt.
Correct.
Even though it's just fictional, meaning
True.
it's fictitious.
Yeah.
Right? It's imaginary. So you just want a reason to avoid or stall the transaction.
Correct.
Because the first 30 to 45 seconds, you have already decided based on your perspective of the individual or the professional, so-called professional,
True.
that you avoid transacting anything with the person.
Absolutely.
So the key first is formalism. That's what. Or attire.
Yeah.
Decent attire, professional attire. Two is the opening. So, I get a lot of phone calls here out of the blue. People fail to even ask, is it a convenient time to talk?
Very true. Very true. It's just okay, have one script which they want to complete.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they have to get the script out.
Correct.
So they fail to even ask. It's courtesy, so you
Correct.
ask permission.
Correct.
So you ask the person, is it that, because you don't know what the person is doing.
Yeah, true. True.
So you want to make sure that it's convenient for the person. So is it a convenient time to talk right now?
Yeah.
Nothing here. There, generally, people extend courtesy if they call over the phone.
Correct.
It's a habit.
Correct.
So these are some major differences, and the third, of course, is even the managers, what they say, development officers, chipka do, khali chipka do, kuch bhi chipka do. The word is chipka do. Now, you want to create a win-win.
Right.
You want to avoid what I call buyer's remorse into the client.
Right.
Because what happens is, if you just push something down their throat, even if they buy, they will have regret.
Absolutely.
You want to avoid that word regret. So
Correct.
you want to make sure that 10 years down the road, they are happy they conducted the transaction which you offered them with.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the entire mentality has to change. I'm here to benefit the person.
Yeah.
I'm here to ensure that the person benefits, and everybody in the transaction has some sort of strong benefit engaged in the process.
Correct.
So this is lacking here in India. Managers also, they just say this is the quota they have been given by the organization.
Yeah.
Just complete the quota. However, and also they say rebate देना है, rebate दे दो, जो भी करना है, लेकिन business लेके आओ.
Right. Right.
So as a result, what happens is that the client, retaining the client on the books is
Correct. Correct.
because they're at stake.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So there, see what happens is there is no option. If the client cancels the policy or the contract, the commission has to be paid back to the company. So they have to be careful. Of course, you still can't avoid it.
Correct.
There, but the thing is, there is called chargeback. It's known as chargeback in Canada.
Yeah.
It means whatever commission has been paid out has to be paid back to the company.
True.
So
True.
what happens is people who are conscious avoid pushing things down the throat of any prospective client.
Yeah.
What happens is there's no chargeback system.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
Since there's no chargeback system, people shove anything down the throat of the
Yeah.
client,
Yeah.
and pretty much that's it. And then there is lapses, and the client doesn't know that there is a lapse. The contract is virtually non-existent,
Yeah.
and then family claim, a whole lot of nonsense.
Absolutely.
As a result, the reputation of the industry and the profession is poor.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one more thing, one more thing which I have noticed. I have seen this practice which has been followed by very few managers and agents. What they do is, and I really appreciate these managers doing this practice, is whenever they suggest any policy, and if the client invests into that policy, when the policy document comes to the client's place, right, it takes about 10 to 15 days, I guess, through courier, whatever. So once that policy document is received by the client, the manager or the agent, whosoever has done that call, they again visits that client, and they actually sits with the client, reads the policy document, and make them understand that, see, the policy which I made you explained is exactly what you have got. So I have double ensured that whatever we have discussed, that is the same product that you have got, and now keep it properly, and also discuss that with your family that you have invested into this, because many a times it happens that the bread earner invest into some policy and don't even disclose that to his family, and everybody, if at all something happens to that person, nobody knows into the family that he has invested in such kind of a financial tool, right? So that is the purpose which these people go, and the benefit that these managers and agents get out of this simple courtesy practice. They get good references from these clients, because they understand कि नहीं, ये वापिस आया मेरे पास, ये चेक लेके चला नहीं गया, वरना ज़्यादा लोग क्या करते हैं, चेक लेके मुंह नहीं दिखाते बाद में, है ना. So that is amazing practice, but unfortunately very few in insurance industry are doing this, and the people who are practicing it, they are getting amazing result out of this simple technique, simple process.
See, the thing is, generally what happens is, again, it's a cultural issue. Though there, even in Canada, it's the same cultural issue.
Yeah.
Depending on which the background is. See, I'll use white Caucasians, meaning white Caucasian races.
White skin people. Yeah.
What happens is their wives or the women in the house are assertive. What's the word? The word is assertive. So what they tell the man is, you better take this because you are the bread earner of the family.
Correct.
We want to keep the roof over the head. We have a mortgage or a home loan.
Yeah.
If something were to happen to you, at least this roof over the head will stay. So
Correct.
they put pressure for the man to go ahead and make a purchase.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, the challenge with Asian families, meaning Indian and Pakistan, whatever, it's a male-dominated culture. So what happens is, I'm the male of the family. I decide. Meaning, I'm just giving you
Yeah.
Nothing to, no say. And the woman, and I have seen this in all families, be it Hindu, Muslim, Islam. The woman, when I used to sit down and explain the plan to the client,
Right.
the woman off, prepares a cup of tea, comes
Yeah.
back, goes off. So what happens is it's ingrained into the people's system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where they fail to make proactive steps is
Correct.
say, telling the husband, hey, you are the bread earner, stay in the house, you want to keep the roof over the head.
True.
So for the sake of the well-being of the family,
Yeah.
please go ahead and implement this process.
Correct.
Here what happens, right? See, there's two things that are certain in life. Get, D-A-T-A-H, get,
Right.
tax. Taxes, you can maybe prolong or defer.
Correct.
Get, you don't know when.
True.
People, a lot of cultures, it's like talking about their mortality.
Yeah.
So we shove it under the carpet,
Yeah.
forget buying. And this is what I see in a lot of homes. The man will just refuse.
Correct. 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 And I have seen even many clients behaving like they are immortals. राइट. अरे अपने को क्या होने वाला है, अपने नहीं मरने वाले. अपने को इसका जरूरत नहीं है.
The thing is, insurance as an example or,
Yeah.
or an offering
Yeah.
is a very catchy subject.
Yeah.
Whenever people talk about mortality, it's a very sore topic to talk about.
True. True.
And I always tell people, I said it's not if,
Mm.
it's when.
True.
It's when. It's certain.
It's certain. Absolutely.
Right? And what I tell people is you buy liability insurance for your vehicle
Mm.
because it's mandatory, it's compulsory.
Correct.
You buy health insurance, you buy everything else, and the most important person is you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the thing is, there is a lot of taboo
Taboo.
in
True.
India.
True.
Of course, even abroad, depending on what background you come from. Because in Canada also, Indians are predominantly Indians and Chinese.
Mm.
And Indians and Chinese both dislike talking about their mortality.
Mm.
Even the Chinese are the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
Though the Chinese are more smarter in how they invest, structure their money and so on.
Correct. 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 Correct.
Indian believes cash is king, and when cash is king, then that becomes a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True. And yeah. Please go ahead.
So the thing is, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said he mentioned the community. He said, doesn't matter what kind of payment you want, cash or official, they have it ready. I said, have it to them. I said, I don't know how they manage.
True. And we were also discussing about the targets, right? Because you also said that just to complete the quarter's target, anything and everything is fair, right? So everything is fair in love and war. So here we have a saying that everything is fair for targets and insurance, right? Or policies.
And the thing is, what happens is the agents or the professionals actually listen to the client.
Correct.
I've had this experience. I've had clients actually tell me they were ill-informed about certain things. And there is buyer's remorse. And the thing is, you have to be honest, completely honest. Even if they don't buy, the key is you build trust. See, people don't buy products. They buy trust first.
Absolutely. True. Very true.
So the key here is to establish rapport and trust first. So anyways, the thing is, it's missing here in this country, because see, the thing is, they can get away.
Correct.
There is no repercussions of punishment.
Yeah.
Now there what happens is they can be sued, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
What happens is there is lawyers sitting ready because they know that there is a pile of money in the professional liability buffer.
Yeah.
Here, God knows what will happen. So, and of course, the thing is, obviously, there what happens is the legal system also works a little more fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here can take forever. So,
Correct.
of course, we have the IRDAI. I believe they are doing a great job now. But
Absolutely.
but the thing is, see, what happens is they have to have educational seminars
Hmm.
for the regular consumer to know how to approach them.
Exactly.
Which most people don't know.
Exactly. And many few know that IRD also have their YouTube channel, by the way. Right? So
Awareness is important,
awareness is important.
which is lacking here in this country.
Correct. So, talking about the targets and how managers are chasing this target, I have also, heard many financial consultants saying that the way manager see their agents or the way manager, see their team is completely different than what is practiced in other countries, right? Here or probably Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Sri Lanka, India. Most of the time managers see their agents like sugar cane juice, right? गन्ने की जूस की दुकान है ना, कि आप नए नए एजेंट्स अपनी टीम में लेके आओ, जब तक उनमें से पॉलिसी निकलती है वो निकालते जाओ, एंड व्हेन यू फील दैट दे आर फिनिश, दे देयर नेचुरल मार्केट इज एग्जॉस्टेड, you forget about them, right? So is this the same trend that we see into the western countries as well, or it is different?
Okay. So the thing is, what?
Yeah.
Human beings have an operating system.
Yeah.
Even in the Western world, we have a lot of Asians, like Indians, North Indians.
Correct.
They bring, see, whatever they practice in their country, they bring it there.
Correct.
And not only that, they teach people how to do it. So what happens is, it is, see, again, like I said, Caucasians work a little differently.
Yeah.
The ethnic markets. So we have both kind of markets there.
Hmm.
Ethnic markets and the Caucasian markets.
Yeah.
Now, the Caucasian markets generally are the people, when they are communicated to you, what happens is they generally are receptive, they
Hmm.
understand logic, and they take logical steps
Correct.
to a conversation.
Correct.
Ethnic market, what happens is, they have all the things that they bring back from wherever they originate from,
Yeah.
and they practice it there too, by the way. Same, but only thing is, they have repercussions. If they were taken to court, then they have a hefty price and regret both.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, manager, depending, see, if it's a manager of Indian origin or Filipino or whatever, they generally bring in that same culture even. So, it's a mix.
The agents who are working there into their team, what are their expectations like from in India? If agent is working in a manager's team, the agent would always will be expecting manager to coach him, to act as a mentor for him, right? Because this agent must be from any XYZ company or industry, right? He must be, let's say, for example, working earlier into a hotel industry, and now he wants to come into insurance for better prospects. Like, yeah. So if he has started working as an agent, he doesn't know how industry works. He doesn't know what is why people should be convinced on insurance and all those things, or what all skill set agent should have to at least talk to the people, right, to convey the correct message. So right now what is happening is I'm seeing that most of the managers, they are like, see, you must have hearing the ambulance going by. So that shows that the urgency of the topic, right, seriousness of the topic. This usually happens that managers are not agents are feeling that managers are not giving them a kind of a right input that they need, and that is the biggest reason why most of the agents are becoming negative in every manager's team. Yeah. So according to you, what is your perspective on this, that you have also worked as a financial consultant in insurance industry? Did you face the same kind of a neglect kind of a feeling, or how do you saw that?
Okay, so abroad, as I told you, the model is a brokerage model.
Yeah.
So brokerage model, there is training. It's everybody on their own.
Yeah.
There is very less guidance.
Correct.
Now here what happens is, if it's a career agency, for
Hmm.
example, I'll name a few companies. LIC is one, ICICI Prudential, HDFC. They are career agent model, meaning they only will offer you products of one organization.
Correct.
Now, what happens is there's no training, though the managers sit right on the agents' backs, basically. Push, and that's why, depending on which company it is, their bank branches also have representatives pushing the products in the bank,
Correct.
which of course is unethical according to me. However, that's a different issue we can touch upon some other time. So the thing is, it's again no financial needs analysis.
Right.
Right? A client doesn't know what they'll say is, oh, this company is going to give you so much. We are giving you a better deal.
Correct.
That is nonsense according to me.
True.
And second is the manager is also not qualified. They're disqualified. Meaning, I will avoid naming a company. They have kids as managers. Okay, that's fine. They pay them a small salary.
Right.
Managers fail to know how to present, fail to know how to communicate, and then they have agents who they expect the agent or the advisor to go and train. I had an experience with an organization where the cluster manager of the office says, do me a favor, you take your manager out, train them, calls.
Oh, the cluster manager is asking you to take them out and train them.
Correct.
Because that...
I have to take out the manager, not on a salary.
Right.
The manager's paid. So what I told the person is, I said, tell me something. I'm not on the payroll of the organization.
Right.
Second, he or she is the so-called manager.
Right.
The manager should be, what I had told the cluster head is that I can do presentations, group presentations, whereby we educate clients and the sale process will be null and void. So that he can deal with the clients on a more professional basis and the clients are more receptive to what we recommend.
Yeah.
Based on their situation.
Right.
So lo and behold, the manager fails to know how to present, communicate. So there is a whole lot of unprofessionalism in the industry.
Right.
In India, we have one thing, numbers.
Correct.
Numbers, people are humongous.
True.
So the attitude is very simple. If this guy doesn't work, next.
True.
This guy doesn't work, next. Right? So, the professionalism is virtually non-existent.
Correct.
And that is the reason the profession also lacks respect.
Very true.
Because what people say, that guy is an insurance guy, he'll come 5 times to the house.
True.
So that is and of course, even there, except for very successful professionals, where they invite the client to the office, generally most of the professionals still adopt the same practice like you, which they go and see their clients and so on.
Correct.
So it is, it's a sorry state of affairs.
Right. Absolutely.
And keep in mind, everybody is self-employed.
Yeah.
So they got their bills to pay.
Correct.
So what happens is, if 2 months there is no transaction, they go desperate. Now when they go desperate, what happens is anything goes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, very true. Now, whenever I'm seeing, I tend to talk to a lot of agents day in and day out, because that is what I do. I train people. I talk about their problems and all. Many agents do call me up and they tell me, sir, हमें आपका training लेना है on negotiation, हमें आपका training लेना है on communication. But unfortunately, we have not yet started training on soft skills. Right? My topic of training is obviously how to recruit insurance agents. Yeah, but this is something which every agents are coming up with, like, sir, we in our company, our manager or our branch manager, our company is not talking about training us, because now let's talk about first communication, a basic skill which every agent should know when he is working in the insurance industry. So whether it is written, verbal, whatever, it is a very basic skill. Then negotiations, because most of the agents are sitting on a call which is of, let's say, for example, 50,000 rupees, right? But then if he understands how to negotiate, if he understands, the right way of need analysis, again a different skill, then probably he would increase, he can, escalate, or he could increase the value of the call from 50,000 to 1 lakh. That is possible, right? Because he can show him that actual value of what he is and what he needs, right? So that has been not taught to us. So if we are going to any client, then we are left with no choice but just to sell product. It's like, selling a commodity. हम आम बेचने जाते हैं या सब्जी बेचने जाता है ना, वैसे ही हम जाते हैं कि सर देखो एकदम फ्रेश प्रोडक्ट आया है. फ्रेश प्रोडक्ट इज ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर, साउंड्स लाइक यू आर सेलिंग वेजिटेबल्स. फ्रेश भाजी आया है.
So first and foremost, any field you are in, you require skills. Anyway, somebody who I know, who was a friend of mine, not now anymore, because of various reasons, I had to let the person go.
Right.
He says his sentence that he utilizes: in India, you don't require any skills. You get by. So what I tell people is, the thing is, yes, India is a country where maybe the word skills people are unaware. So what is communication, for example? I have seen a lot of people who stand on stage and they feel that superior communication is just standing up and opening their mouth.
Right.
It's not the case, actually.
Correct.
It's not.
Correct.
Communication, you have to create impact.
Very true.
And 93% of communication is non-verbal, meaning silent.
Absolutely.
Only 7% is the verbal aspect, which
Correct.
is spoken.
Correct.
So the thing is, communication, influencing skills, persuasion skills, and most important is limiting beliefs. So, when I was working in the industry, I used to tell my manager that we'll provide a recommendation of 1+ crore of annualized premium or annualized pay. Oh, that is too big. That is, people have their own self-limiting fears and beliefs.
Correct.
Because they feel the moment you say out aloud or recommend a high number, client is going to run away.
Right.
So, there is a saying in English: if you say you are right, you are absolutely right. Whatever you say, you are true. So be it.
Correct.
So, you have a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you believe to be true, it's in your hands.
Yeah.
So, if you believe that you say a smaller number, because see, in India, LIC or prior to privatization, what was it? Oh, 80C में ले लो, tax का benefit होगा.
Correct.
See, life insurance and tax are two different things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Life insurance is risk management.
Correct. Correct.
Where you are the economic engine of the family, you are providing this. Your income or your earning capability is going to grow, and you are going to provide everybody a better life.
Absolutely.
You are not there. This will provide the same thing that you are going to provide.
Correct.
So the thing is, the concept is all distorted.
Yeah.
Tax and etc. and the words, and you buy this as an investment. Insurance, life insurance, and investment are two different.
Absolutely.
The objective is completely different.
Correct.
Investment has to grow your money. You have to beat inflation. Actually, that's the right goal.
True.
Whether you beat inflation or no depends on how you park the money, tax structure, and what a lot of other things.
Precisely.
Right? So the thing is, the key here is the skills are required. The skills are missing in the industry, both the places. See, because when you develop a skill, you can apply it in any area of your life.
Correct.
Professional, personal, etc. Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The key is, it's not about selling, it's about influence, persuasion. You persuade.
Correct.
Same thing. Your span of thinking has to expand.
Correct.
Right?
True.
So, if I were to tell somebody that you are a trillionaire, what would their brain say to them?
Hmm.
joke or this person is joke. How
Right.
can
Correct.
this? How do I make it possible?
True.
How do I get there? It's not where you are; it's where you want to go.
Correct.
So there was a saying. There is a saying that I heard years ago. Where you are has nothing to do with where you want to go.
Absolutely.
So the key here is again is that for skills you got to start working on yourself first.
Correct.
Take training program, whatever, invest in yourself. Go out, take training programs. Of course, here there is not many prevalent training programs. Like in a country like the US, there's a lot of programs that hone people's skills based on what they
True.
want.
True. True.
In India, it's missing.
True. Very true. Absolutely, absolutely. Kaiwanji, thank you so much for sharing your perspective about insurance industry as a whole. One last verdict or a last quote I want to or your perspective I want to ask, that is, what would you tell? What message would you like to give to those people who are now want to enter to the insurance industry? According to you, what do you feel, it is still a productive industry to work in, or it is still very unorganized, so stay out of it? What would be your verdict on that?
If you're looking for a profession and you're willing to do something, if you have a vertical that
Correct.
provides you with extra income
Right.
apart from the insurance industry,
Right.
then by means enter the industry.
Correct. Correct.
So if they have a separate sources of income,
Yeah.
either one,
Right.
then they have the patience and because it takes time to grow in this industry.
Correct. Correct.
You will have to do it without support,
True.
without a mentor, whatever.
True. True.
If you do not, then avoid, stay out of the industry.
That was specially for the financial consultants who want to come on the freelance basis, right? But even for the managers who want to come on roles, would you like to give some message to them?
Okay, so the managers is the thing is, there is a saying in life: if you are making money of somebody else's effort,
Yeah.
then the least you can do is provide them with adequate support.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
If you are going to do nothing and just collect money, then I call it the karmic law.
Yeah.
Rather than that, stay away from it. Do something else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you willing to put in the time, energy, and effort to actually go out and support the people? It's all
Right.
about support. Because you go out on a call with them, you train them,
Yeah.
you do a role play with the client
True.
on how to handle various concerns that the client has. So
Right.
it's hands-on.
Correct. Correct.
Now, manager has to have a skill set to do that.
Exactly.
One person who's blind
Mm.
is going to be unable to lead somebody else who's blind.
True.
Both are blind.
True.
So one has to have clear vision. For
Correct.
that, they have a vision in the future.
Right.
For that, they have to be willing to do what it takes to get where they want to go.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. Kaiwanji, thank you so much for sharing your perspective, because the topic, it's so vast, it is so deep that all the aspect of this discussion, I think it won't be possible for us to sum up into one podcast. But I'm sure that we'll be surely coming up with another this similar kind of a topic very soon. But thank you so much for sharing your perspective on this, and many people in insurance industry do want to listen this kind of do want to discuss on this kind of topics, because there is a very limitation or very limited time when they really get these kind of forum wherein these topics are being discussed openly, because that is not happening in insurance industry, or at least in their offices right now. Yeah, so thank you for sharing all this amazing things with us.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Have a
Thank-
great, pleasant evening.
Thank you so much. Bye. See ya. Yeah. सो दैट वाज काइवान होमी ईरानी। आई एम श्योर ये पॉडकास्ट आपको काफी ज्यादा अच्छा लगा होगा। और अगर आप अपने किसी गेस्ट को हमारे पॉडकास्ट पे नॉमिनेट करना चाहते हो तो उनकी डिटेल्स हमें आप हमारे व्हाट्सएप पे शेयर कर सकते हो। मेरा व्हाट्सएप नंबर है 9714991661। और अगर ये पॉडकास्ट आपको अच्छा लगा है तो इसको लाइक और शेयर जरूर कर देना और चैनल के सपोर्ट के लिए इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब भी जरूर कर देना। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग।